Hello and welcome to DoClick's Voice FM. My name's Kel and I'm your host, and today we'll talk about online marketplaces. We will discuss the features and how a U.S. or non-U.S. resident can participate as a vendor or a buyer with today's guest. Now, before we start, let me remind you that DoClick's Voice FM is a cloud radio, and you can provide your own programs if they contain unique knowledge and messages for our users and listeners, because sharing experience and knowledge is one of the best ways to give back to society. Now, back to our program. Let's start by clarifying what is a marketplace. Well, a marketplace is an online bazaar, a community selling place, which gives access to the seller and buyer in order to buy and sell goods. So now today we welcome to our studio Nasheeb Umar, who is CEO of InfoTaxSquare.com. We'll ask him our marketplace questions, its essence in the digital world, and how we can use it to increase sales and minimize marketing expenses. Nasheeb, hello and welcome to our studio. Can you please start by telling us what is the idea behind a marketplace and which are the most used marketplaces online today?
I thank you, Kelray, for having me on DoClick's Voice FM to share my knowledge about a marketplace, which is one of the most dynamic concept and a complete business solution for a person who is willing to do business online to capture the attention of the maximum interested buyers across the country. And I will also try to share every important area for you listeners about a marketplace, Cal.
Yes, I think most of us have shopped in all of those marketplaces. Nasheeb, can you tell me what is the concept of drop shipping and how does a vendor and seller get a benefit from a drop shipping concept?
Cal, again, the concept is old, but the trend is changed. And let me share a little history of dropshipping, which was basically introduced before the internet was introduced in the 60s and 70s. Cal, mail order companies used to send a catalog or a small booklet to users to order a selected item from the catalog through phone calls. When the competition between large companies arose, they started opening fulfillment centers to speed up the delivery to attract more clients. Later, it turned to FBA fulfillment, Amazon warehouse scale. It is same as a search engine. The original idea was not coming of a search engine from Google and Yahoo, rather it was an old tale. But Google and Yahoo presented and promoted in a better way than the person who actually came with the original idea of a search engine. Here for your information, the most prominent names in a mail order companies were Sears and JCPenney. Here now let me tell you the history and idea behind a marketplace. The idea is old and existing like a bazaar where various products used to offer at one place to a large crowd with attractive deals. The trend has changed, but the ideology is still same. And now a particular crowd has moved on the internet and the market and choices are vast compared to an old-fashioned bazaar. Here, let me explain a marketplace in a sentence. A marketplace is an online portal where various sellers offer various types of retail and wholesale items at a fixed price, and both a seller and a buyer follow the guidelines of a portal provider to stay in good standing. Lastly, the most popular marketplaces are Amazon, eBay, Shopify, and Etsy.
But how does a seller and a buyer get actual benefit from the drop shipping process?
Here, generally, a seller or a vendor gets benefited by saving advertising expense. Number two, business development expense. Number three, avoid opening a bricks and mortar store. Number four, transportation expense. Number five, avoid filing sales tax complication and chasing filing different deadlines. Number six, avoid learning each state taxation rules. Here now let's talk about how does a buyer gets benefited by a marketplace. Number one, fast delivery by nearest dropshipper, which is arranged by a seller. Number two, attractive deals from different sellers. Number three, there is no threat of non-delivery by a vendor because a marketplace assumes the assurance for a delivery. Number four, there is no return and refund issues with the vendor whether goods were either delivered on time or did not meet the standards. Number five, and the last, a buyer is not responsible to report use tax in income tax return end of the year because the sales tax has already been collected by a marketplace on behalf of the taxing state.
So, Nashib, now tell me, how does a seller get registered with a marketplace to offer products in that very same marketplace?
Globally, there are many marketplaces, and each marketplace has its own unique process to register. And a few common information which are generally collected from a vendor I'm going to mention for your listeners. Number one, sign up with each marketplace and submit documents that are requested by a marketplace management. Number two, provide contact person information for a future correspondence. Number three, sales tax registration is generally required to sign up with a marketplace. It is used to buy taxable items and selling items to an end user. Number four, provide proof of identification such as a copy of driver's license, passport, or any other valid document. Number five, bank account information to transfer funds.
Okay, even I can handle that. But what I'm curious about now is knowing what is the flow of sales tax collection from production to post production, which is one of the key features of an e commerce business. Because understanding the sales tax flow is vital to avoid complications and to be able to comply with the taxing authorities.
Here it is important to have an understanding with each marketplace who will receive sales tax on taxable items from an end user. And I will share a flow of sales tax collection and its distribution. Number one, a manufacturer does not collect sales tax unless the manufacturer sold taxable items to a direct user. Number two, a wholesaler does not collect sales tax unless the wholesaler sold taxable items to an end user. Number three, a retailer collects sales tax from an end user rather than a manufacturer or a wholesaler. Number four, and the last point, Kel, a sales tax collector is responsible to collect sales tax from an end user and pay the collected sales tax to the taxing authorities.
So, Nashib, where do you go to register a company since the internet clienteles and deliveries are across the country?
Kel, fulfillment center or shipping point is a key to decide the origin of the state, whether a company will be registered in one state or in a multiple states. Let me explain to help you to decide the origin of a company with a few examples. Number one, a person lives in New York with a fulfillment center, and all deliveries are shipped from New York only across the country. A business name will be registered in New York only regardless, selling and shipping to across the country. Example number two, a person lives in New York, but that person has multiple fulfillment centers in different states. In this scenario, business name will be registered in every state where that person has a fulfillment center.
Is business name registration necessary to join a marketplace?
Business name registration is not required, Cal, to register in a marketplace. Rather, you can simply sign up with marketplace under your legal given name. And in this case, marketplace may ask you a social security number instead of the federal identification number, which is also called EIN number. And it is issued by the Internal Revenue Services. Here, a legal entity generally includes a corporation, LLC, or different type of partnerships.
Nashib, what are the responsibilities of a vendor to maintain when selling a marketplace?
Here, it is a key question to prevail a sale on different marketplaces. Generally, a marketplace has a very strict guidelines to maintain your account in a good standing. Here, it has been observed upon termination or taking of temporary or permanent of an account of a vendor from a marketplace involuntarily derailed a vendor from everywhere to nowhere. Here, it has also been noticed that such issues may take months or forever to resolve. Even though Cal, a marketplace apparently looks a great facility to develop a business, but same time it always keeps you in a fear to go forever. So it is highly recommended to a seller to always keep an alternative of a marketplace. Cal, let me highlight a few points which may derail or take your account off from the track and you end up on a forever bar from marketplace to do business. Number one, review each marketplace policies very carefully to follow their protocol because one small mistake may involuntarily and indefinitely seize your account by marketplace. The internet is with a full of stories from marketplace victims. Point number two, maintain quality of your products and deliver an order on time as per your commitment that you have mentioned on your marketplace wall. Number three, do not ever sell permanent and temporary prohibited product that may bar you from selling in a marketplace again. Number four, keep checking inventory on shelves. Offering an empty shelf inventory may become a cause to close your account forever from a marketplace. Number five, and the last point, Kel, misleading of personal information may permanently terminate your marketplace account.
Can a non-U.S. resident also participate in marketplaces in the United States?
Certainly, Kel, a non-US resident is eligible to participate in a marketplace, regardless of residency status. The only hurdle which a non-US resident may face opening a business checking account without being presented in the United States.
I want to thank you, Nashib Umar, for coming to our studio and sharing your knowledge about selling in online marketplaces.
I thank you, Kelray, for having me on Duke's Voice FM, and let me conclude this program with a few tips for my listener. 100% dependency on a third party is not a wise way to set your vision. I recommend to sell your products on your portal as well. Set a marketplace to generate additional revenue only. Finally, it is a compulsory condition for a successful business. Be an independent rather than a dependent.
For our listeners, you can reach Nashib at www.infotaxsquare.com to get more information about starting to sell on a marketplace. And that's it for today. Goodbye for now from your host, Cal, at DoClick's Voice FM.